Welcome to the Evidence from the Field series. Today, we will hear from an expert on the topic of institutionalizing transdisciplinary interface management, or TIM. The story provides one example of how one pioneering university got really excited about hiring TI managers in sustainability projects, and the steps this university took to institutionalize these positions over the last 6 years. In this video, we have the unique opportunity to peer behind the curtain to better understand how to make the vision of TI management a reality.
Hello, my name is Chantal. I'm working as a research associate at the Institute for Social-Ecological Research in Frankfurt, Germany. For my master thesis, I conducted research on the subject of transdisciplinary interface management in regards to its effectiveness and its institutionalization processes at universities. For this purpose, I have conducted interviews and tried to trace the process at 2 different universities that have started to institutionalize the position of TI managers. And today I would like to use one of them, a university in the Netherlands, as an example to illustrate their steps towards institutionalizing TI managers. First, I should mention that for better understanding the hiring processes, I used Curry's theory of institutionalization from 1992. You can find more information about this work linked below. So let's dive in. It all began in 2017 when this particular university established a strategic program for sustainability that included a focus on transdisciplinary sustainability research. The goal of the program was to have a bigger impact on science and society and to foster the collaboration among researchers and stakeholders in the community. The university invited experts with experience in transdisciplinary sustainability research to share their knowledge and to support the development of the university's sustainability program. In that context, 2 visiting professors introduced the concept of transdisciplinary interface management. Interestingly, the organizers quickly saw the potential of transdisciplinary interface managers. This then led to further meetings and discussions around the idea of hiring such TI managers. So for each of the thematic research hubs that they wanted to create for the strategic program, they thought about hiring a TI manager. In the next year, plans were made on how to hire, embed, and fund TI managers, and they collected ideas what functions they should fulfill. The governed project organization of the sustainability program decided to sponsor 5 ITI manager positions for the next 4 years from the program funds. So when it came to defining the contract details of the different positions, it depended on the individual position. Some TI managers ended up getting temporary contracts and others got permanent positions with contract between 50 to 80%. One TI manager reported to have started out part-time and later extended to 80%. They argued that the work of establishing and maintaining relationships just takes a lot of time, and enough time is needed for the work to be successfully fulfilled. While defining the contract details, the organizers also faced bureaucratic challenges like fitting this newly defined position into the strict framework for Dutch salary scales. Luckily, this challenge did not stop the hiring process. The closest category was chosen for each TI manager based on the activities and topics that they should work on. All these steps fit into the first phase of the theory of institutionalization, the mobilization phase, where the hiring is actually being prepared. Let's continue with the story where the actual hiring takes place. From 2018 on, the universities hired 5 TI managers for each of the newly established research hubs. For that, vacancies were set up considering the requirements of the position like skills in communication, organization, mediation, as well as experiences in networking and translating research results into usable knowledge. The university created a selection committee consisting of researchers of the specific hub and research support officers to find the most suitable candidate. Some positions were filled with internal employees and others with external applicants. One big question was where to actually locate the TI managers. Here it depended on the hub and the activities of the TI managers themselves. Some TI managers were located at the faculty, others at the department level. The decision had a noticeable impact on the daily work of TI managers. One mentioned rarely interacting with staff from their own faculty, instead working mostly with researchers from another department. Another admitted feeling lonely at times as they did not fully belong to any single unit. So placing TI managers within the university remains a challenge. A member of the organizing committee described it as difficult to embed them meaningfully since their cross-cutting role does not fit into the existing university structures. Besides that, it also became apparent that due to their new function, TI managers need solid support and guidance from their team, but also their supervisors. For example, in overcoming skeptical colleagues at first. One TI manager reported suspicion of a colleague that they had to work with. There was one professor who was really in doubt whether they were doing the right things at first. And then the TI manager organized a meeting for him with political representatives of 5 large cities. Then, out of a sudden, the professor was super happy with their work. After a few years, one TI manager had to leave the organization due to legal regulations in the Netherlands. Here, temporary contracts end after 4 years and are not extended unless they become permanent. When the funding of the strategic program ended after 4 years, luckily, each unit decided to keep the TI manager positions. Now the funding for TI manager positions come from the individual faculties instead of the strategic program. This was and might still be challenging as the faculties need to find existing resources to fund TI manager positions. So to sum up, in this phase of implementation, the university hired TI managers, created work structures within the university, and the new positions became more and more accepted and valued by colleagues. However, the positions are not fully secured due to temporary contracts and the challenge of finding continuous funding. To now fully reach institutionalization, which is also the last phase of the theory, further actions could include securing long-term funding, establishing evaluation and quality criteria of the new position, offering further training opportunities and career levels, and supporting a community of practice of TI managers in but also across universities. I hope the story has illustrated some of the many actions and steps that are taken to institutionalize TIM and TI managers. While there might be a few interesting insights in this story, I want to highlight 2 important takeaways. First, TI manager positions are new, which means they may face resistance and initially need to prove their value in order to gain acceptance. I think this highlights the importance of making their impact and contributions visible, an essential step for successfully embedding TI managers within universities. And second, this example illustrates how institutional structures can shape the success of TI managers. Both their formal placement within the organization and their physical location are crucial for their effectiveness and well-being. When TI managers are placed inappropriately, for example, isolated from colleagues and disconnected from key units, they risk becoming overlooked. So to prevent this, careful consideration must be given to their positioning, not only during planning, but also throughout the implementation process. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you found this experience about creating a TI manager's position valuable. Good luck with your endeavors.
Many thanks to Chantal for sharing this real-world example of the steps and challenges, as well as ways to overcome them, to embedding transdisciplinary interface managers at universities. We are happy to report that the TI manager positions are still going strong at the university from this story. We hope that this video helps our viewers to have a realistic picture of how to institutionalize TI managers at their university, or to consider how this process can work in other kinds of institutions. Thanks for watching.